I'm actually in a pretty good place right now. I spend a lot of time with Amrita. Try to give her some space at some points, but when you're traveling with just the two and have a need to be with a person, I couldn't really give her that much space. At least a little. Uh, we went to Shadowgrange, dropped off Acrio's sister, got to know her a little better. I mean, that was great. And then we spent some time, earning some money, hunting something. I never really used to be a hunter. My sister was good at that stuff. I sometimes went along when I wanted to spend some time with her, but it was always, her work and my company, which is perfect add-on. I've been thinking a lot more than usual, maybe. Whatever this thing is, this oblivion is, it's clearly tangible in some way. I'm learning how to hunt, and I want to hunt. I've been looking for him inside of me, and he's good at waiting. He's good at dodging. I'm looking forward to seeing the rest again. I miss them. Gross. I think we're close to Braylon again. I hope we can see them soon.
Cillian, you open the window and smell the salty air as you go and step out onto the sill, leaning out. How is he with heights?
He's good with heights.
So you stare down without much regard, grabbing onto a gutter as you sling yourself across it onto the next sill, pressed up against the building. 7 stories up. Didn't sound very high, and now as you're looking down one of the spires of Selhoff, it seems a little higher than you were expecting. That surge of adrenaline, the heart racing, you feel more alive than you had in a while. Reigen is chuckling, enthused by what's going on right now, partially because he was the one who suggested it would be a good job to take. I need you to make a thieves' tools check as you are trying to pick the lock on this next window over into the apartment.
Oh, you better catch me if I lose my balance.
I'm not sure these hands are going to do much. But very deftly, as you're clutching onto the sill and trying to work the picks with one hand, luckily, window locks are very easy to jimmy. People this high up don't expect anyone to come in this way. And you are able to slide it open into the darkened room. Can I have you make a perception check as well?
For sure.
Takes you a bit because you're not accustomed to the dark. Your eyes are still human, as much as Reigen and your other family members assist with seeing into places that you can't. The room is almost completely pitch, so you have to strike a match. Would he light a cigarette in this moment?
Yeah, he's
pre-rolled. Just that faint glow. There's that moment of apprehension where you know that nobody's home because you've cased this place for a while, but at the same time, there's still that chance of being discovered, and there's a thrill in that.
Mm-hmm.
Making your way through this rich, not gaudy, but certainly well paid for abode. You spot the painting in the bedroom, the one that you were hired to steal for the Winged Ink.
Okay. I take that extra look around. not really trying to see anything, but mostly proving to Reigen that I'm doing my due diligence.
Mm-hmm.
And I just slowly start moving closer, aware that rich assholes like these really like their stuff. So I'm looking for anything that might be lying in wait, a small wire, a thing, and I get closer to try to not necessarily try to take it off the wall immediately, but I want to kind of admire it for a second.
Mm-hmm. It's smaller than you had expected. A lot of the more expensive projects that the Winged Ink does are like grand landscapes and portraits and that sort of thing. This one is, maybe this big, very detailed though, and I'm going to have you describe what he would have been commissioned to steal.
I think it's an abstract piece that sort of depicts this idea of black mana that the painter probably hasn't seen, but like personified into a dark being that is taking over like a small hovel that is supposed to represent Stensia in some way.
And as you're glancing over it, the inhale through the tobacco causing this faint orange glow enough that you can see what you're looking at, you hear Reigen's voice. Wait, I've got pearls too.
It's not what we were hired for, Reigen. Come on.
But it's here.
Okay. Do you know a seller close by? Someone who might buy them? Someone who needs fucking pearls?
That's your job.
You can pull your weight a little more sometimes.
My weight is absolute zero. You see as he's starting to float up.
You really get away with too much. I'll grab one. How about it?
Yeah, so as you look, it's not just that, but there's like a jewelry box, several rings, that sort of thing. He was referring specifically to a string of pearl necklace that's kind of like draped over the side of a mirror. But you do find a ring with a pearl, or what might be a pale opal on it. It's hard to tell in the darkness. But yeah, you can snatch that, and they'll probably miss it along with the painting, but how are they going to track it down? Especially because most thieves would take everything, so taking a little bit, much less chance of being caught. The way you've operated the past year or so.
Okay, yeah, I'll take the pearl necklace. Should I write it down?
No, because this would have been hawked at some point during your time in sell-off.
That's what I thought. And then I'll grab one of the halves of my original scissor blades and start to, since a painting within a frame is kind of hard to keep hidden on your person, I'll just slice out the canvas.
Roll that up into a tube that you've prepared for this. It's larger than even needed, so fits in very easily as you then make your way back to the window and shimmy down the drain pipe a story until you get to another window you can slip inside. In the present day, you find yourself at the crossroads between Shadow Grange, the Gatander Pass leading to Kessig, and the road that intersects it from Braylet to Lammas. Django Vistani's little band has camped there, and you've kind of ingratiated yourself. The thing you would notice is that they've got probably 10, maybe 11 wagons, a lot of them dark wood, some of them painted black, a lot of blue and green banners, but there are very few members to this traveling caravan, almost not even enough for the wagons. There's a dozen people, and specifically you notice there are no children.
So what do you think? Should I have taken all of it? I kind of feel bad now. I would have had a lot more spending money.
He's leaned back next to the fire. Stensia is always incredibly dark. No stars, barely the trace of a moon, which you know is waning into its blackest phase. And as he's propped his feet up near the campfire, he's just like, well, I certainly would have.
Yeah.
I mean, who needed it more? I think those rich assholes did.
They definitely did have something to bounce back, but you don't want to leave a trail. And the people, I just feel like other people would have taken a cut, if they realized I hadn't much more. There's always someone looming.
Yeah, there's always someone.
And they have it out for us anyway, so why not make it true?
You see him contemplating that for a second before he just shrugs.
So what's your next plan?
Just keep moving. Maybe down to Lomas. Maybe back into... No. But I'm not going back to Kessig. Never going back there.
How's that?
You see him start to pull out this small, like, brass tin circular, take the lid off and start to roll something up into small paper. It's obviously not tobacco as he twists up the ends and strikes a match.
You know, there's more of that there. You're never going back to Kessig.
Yeah. Take what I've got now. Sure you've noticed. We're light on bulk.
I mean,
Werewolves. Did you hear what happened in Everbrook?
love to hear.
I wasn't there, but we were close. Lit up. Like 1,000 bonfires all at once. But it wasn't fire, it was something else. Have you ever seen a werewolf using magic, wielding spells? They attacked out of nowhere. I think they might have been invisible at the time. They killed everything. We were lucky, the ones of us who got out. Not lucky enough. That whole place, they call it Hollow Hinge now. It's a skeleton of a town.
Sounds like a good reason to not want to go back. I don't blame you. Sorry. For what it's worth.
Mondronen. That's what that Howl Pack was called. I don't know what they are really. What they've dabbled into, some kind of witchcraft. I don't know what their game is. I sure as hell don't want to find out. Take my chances with the Ashmouth.
Did you get a feel for their shine, their color? Or are you too far?
Far from what? The city itself? What are you talking about? The rivers themselves. I had one this close to my face. And he'll like pull back his shirt where you can see like a few claw marks.
Woohoo, that's badass.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll make a great story in a year or two. But it still hurts.
Yeah, I was gonna give you some pointers because it wasn't a great story yet, just sort of something that happened. You got to turn that into a story, you know?
Spruce it up for the future. We didn't see their leader. The Alpha. We've heard of him. Tovalar. I don't know his last name or if it was first. I don't know where the name even came from, but they say he spends more time in his wolf form than he does in human. Doesn't speak, might even be mute. But they all know what he's thinking.
How does he lead then, without speaking?
They've got some kind of sense. It's a wolf sense. It's a pack mentality. Worst I've ever seen. But we struggle by. Holds it back out to you.
This is good, by the way.
Wish I'd have made out with more.
Okay. I hope you don't blame every single one of those. The ones who murdered, sure.
I don't know any other kind.
I've known several. Just telling you my experience. Like you told me yours. So have you found your next thing yet? You lost your previous thing. Have you found your next thing?
I don't think he would specifically answer that.
Okay.
He would say,
Then
we made enough to struggle by after Brylet. Keep moving.
what were you doing there in Brylet? Whose side were you on?
Make a persuasion check.
Oh, lag persuasion.
I think he would lean forward in the firelight. You see his eyes kind of glassy and starting to get a little bloodshot. And he just points across the fire, not at you. His. Hers. Mine. That's whose side we're on. We're Vistani. It's the only side we've got.
That's the answer I like. There's a lot happening in Brylet, and my vision was a bit cloudy, and I thought you might have lost yours for a second, but it's clear you didn't. Always them first.
Easy money. I think they call themselves the Veiled. Bunch of bullshit. All but us just to hang out. Make sure nobody moved upriver. Just take the blame for whatever came. Pretty easy, like you said. You're gonna blame us anyway. Just play the part. That's all we had to do. Easy money.
Be careful with easy money. There's something that makes it easy, and that something is never good.
Only problem with it is it burns a hole in my pocket too quick.
Well, you should spend less on this shit. And I take the thing from his hand and smoke one. Rot your brain, you know?
Describe what Cillian looks like after this amount of time away since the incident in Braylet.
About half of Cillian's hair is white. He dyed it long enough that big parts of the white roots are starting to set back in. So there's still a lot of brown, but you can definitely see a lot of white is peeking through.
Oh, so it went white and he dyed it back to its original color or close to it?
Mm-hmm. From the vitiligo, a lot of his hair is white. And now you're starting to see that again. He got bored of the purple. He took it to a less than professional dye job, but it's good enough to somewhere between a red and an orange.
Kind of a vermilion.
Yeah, sure. And other than that, he spent some money on new clothes, and they look not really weathered yet. Just very, very form-fitting on purpose, showing his form through his clothes. And then just this scarf slapped around, just covering a big part of it. I think he looks annoyingly good. Not really tired, not really... There is no bags, there's no wounds on him at the moment. Just, I wouldn't say perfect, but close to it.
How much of that is legit and how much is what he's portraying?
Mostly pretending right now. Ooh, that's fun. Thanks, Jake.
We made it out of Braylet. We all kind of parted ways, and that hurts a lot. But I went to the forge with Acrio. I'm lucky to have made it after quite literally being in the mouth of a fiend. I'm kind of worried that if and when we all meet back up, that some people might not be there, and that either something happened to them or they just decided not to come back. And that scares me more than anything. Even more than those fucking undead that I saw.
Lorelei, you feel that rumble under the streets of Braylet, and the stone and dirt and brick shrapnel that exploded underneath you as the devil Reverax wormed his way out of the ground, clutching you in its pincers as you felt the heat, this volcano-like maw. As you fall into it, you see Acrio somehow climbed up the side of this black thing. As he's reaching down toward you, you find yourself falling and clutch his fingers, and then your hand slips off of them, and he gets further and further away as you sink into Reverax, and that's when you wake up in a hot sweat.
Where do I wake up?
Where would she be? Is she at the forge? Is she sleeping in the forest during this time?
She'd probably sleep in the forge, just because sleeping outside is probably a bit scary. But she'd find somewhere out of the way and secluded, but still just in shelter.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of scrambles and paws at the wall, just trying to get her bearings and try and just ground herself for a minute. And then she just goes quiet and listens, and just tries to hear, I guess, what, if there's any sign of life, if she can hear anything going on.
Make a perception check. It's dark because you are completely secluded underground. You're almost suffocated by the darkness around you, grasping, trying to find something a candle or a lantern, torch, something you can spark up, but you're unable to find anything. How does she react to groping in the darkness, unable to even know for sure if she's left the nightmare?
she starts getting almost quite primal, and like as she's breathing, it's getting more and more ragged. Her hands are like curling up into like clawed fists, and she's sort of staying low to the ground, and she's almost going a little animalistic in this fear, and she's kind of regressing and not caring about, you know, looking proper or looking normal. She's just like trying to figure out where she is. As
you almost, not exactly, but close to curling up, almost in the fetal position, just like after a moment, again, unaware if you're even awake or not. In the last few months, that line has blurred even more. You had hoped after these nightmares infused by the presence of the devil, it might abate, but it hasn't. That hope was false. But suddenly you start to hear a faint ting. 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 Sounds like something being hammered somewhere in the halls of this place.
She's gonna go to it. She's gonna try and follow it.
It's enough that you can find the door.
Yeah. I don't think she's fully aware of even what it could be, but it's just something different, and she just wants to see what it is.
And as you regain your bearings and push open the door to the room that you're able to finally find following the sound, the halls are a little bit more illuminated. You have no sense of time. I don't think you have a watch. There's no clocks in this place. You don't know if it's midday, if you slept until 2 a.m. You don't know any of that. All you see is this flickering orangish light down one of the halls that you can follow, and how well would she know the layout at this point of the ruins of the Holy Forge?
Not very well. I feel like she's tried to keep out of the way, sort of like out of respect, and she's a bit hesitant to go exploring, so she doesn't know it at all.
You find yourself getting lost a couple times down rooms that you follow light, but then you realize it's just a candle that's been burning in the area where Acrio has any food stocks and that sort of thing. You kind of find yourself in a kitchen-like setup. There's a vent with a heavy stone, like brick oven stove in it, and a pantry that's collapsed, but has been like, some of the rubble's been moved out up against the wall. So stocks have been resupplied into it. Being underground, it's easy to keep things cool.
Yeah, I can take a cursory look around this pantry situation and then try and go back to following the noise.
You know that you've been one of the ones to keep it fairly well stocked with things that you've been able to forage from the woods around and garner supplies from Braylet and bring them out here for the time that you've spent here. People have been generous despite the fact they are also in the process of rebuilding.
She hasn't, if she has been taking things, it hasn't really been for free. She's offering like medical help
for sure.
And stuff like herbs that she's foraged as well. It's like a decent barter thing. Mm-hmm. Even if they are generous, she's generous back.
And yeah, you're able to then move back into the halls and start to follow this rhythmic pinging sound.
And I think she'll cast light, almost as a bit of a comfort, just to see if she still can even.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it comes very quickly. Yeah, as soon as you find an object, anything that you could have got a hold of, that you can channel this dim but radiant grayish light. How does she look in this moment after this time has passed?
Some of her hair is like stuck to her forehead. She's in like a sheen of sweat. She's like hunched over a little bit, just sort of ready to spring at a moment's notice. And she's just like retreated into the cloak, like pulled the hood around her face.
As you're making your way back through the halls, there's still areas that are able to maneuver, but this place had been damaged so badly you still have to like climb over fallen pillars, that sort of thing, where half the room collapsed and there's a narrow way to get through to the next area. And can I have you just roll a d20, please?
Oh boy.
Okay, so you're moving through one of the rooms that may have at one time been like a small barracks for people who were stationed here. Acrio has guessed that they were craftsmen, but you're not sure if they were Cathars, what exactly it was. Nobody has gone through any of the trunks or the ancient, decayed personal items here, whether out of respect or fear from what had caused all of this. It's been left untouched, very dusty, but you notice along one of the walls there's still like what was hanging but now fallen and leaned up against one of the otherwise dry and collapsing bed frames, this mirror that's like cracked and shattered, and out of the corner of your eye you just notice your reflection, the glint of light from the object you're holding cause your head to whip that way, and you see in the reflection a figure behind you.
Rather than immediately whip around, she's going to lean a little closer to the mirror to see if this figure moves.
The figure doesn't seem to move, but as you look a little closer, you see the color shining in the gray light that you can produce. It's that deep crimson outline and features of Lars that you had seen when he's able to duplicate himself.
Immediately turns around.
You see nothing behind you.
Back to the mirror.
Still there.
She's gonna run up and like, she's gonna drop the thing she's holding and like grab the mirror and just like stare into it.
As you go to touch it, pieces of it are falling off because it is broken, but some of the larger ones hold to the frame, and you can, it's difficult trying to look past yourself and lean your own reflection out of the way. But yeah, the figure of Lars just starts to approach. How would he do so?
I think he mirrors her exact movements with the hand going up, but the distance between them is a lot farther than like the face of a mirror would be. So it's like this mirror group. He's very far, but he's trying to do the same thing. His voice, it sounds like he's shouting, but the volume turned down to 1. Lorelei, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you. I'm here. I can hear you.
It's getting harder to hold on. What happened? I know something big happened. I know what happened.
River Axe happened.
But you're still here.
Yeah, we all are. We made it out. We killed him. We killed the bastard. He tried to eat me. And
I'm so proud of you.
I wish you could have been there.
Would have made it too easy.
Is this real? Or am I dreaming again?
Would that make it less real?
I don't know. I don't know what it is that Amrita doesn't believe me, you know. She doesn't believe it's you. And for a second I stopped believing it as well. The timing was bad, okay? I got the River Axe thing appeared on my arm, and then it was around the same time that you were starting to show up again. It's just coincidental, you know? Things happen. The falters, you know?
I think Lars flickers for a second and then comes back.
Please don't go yet. Please don't go yet.
No, I'm trying, okay? I've been getting glimpses, small reflections of things that you did, kid. Whatever, something held on to you, and that is gone. I think it's trying to take it with me, and I don't know what to do. I've been seeing you. I've been seeing Amrita. I've been seeing, but it's always. Have you ever seen when like a glass bead creates a rainbow?
Yeah.
That's sort of what it feels like. You're twisting things, and I'm trying to find a place for myself, but I'm slowly, and I think it flickers again.
As he's talking, I want to use Eyes of the Grave to see if this comes up as undead to me.
You don't feel anything behind you or around you that feels undead.
Plus, I don't know what to do. I don't know what you want me to do.
Look for me. I think I'm in the mirrors. I'm in the broken mirrors. That's what I see. Look for me, please.
I promise.
You're all that's left of me.
No pressure.
And I am so unbelievably... I need you to find me.
Can you tell me something?
Uh-huh.
This is really you, isn't it? This isn't a trick.
Can't believe you don't believe me.
Then let me believe in you. Tell me the truth. That's all I'm asking.
Why would I ever, Lorelei?
I don't know, but things are weird, okay? And I don't know what I can trust nowadays. I feel like I'm in nightmares constantly. The lines between nightmares and reality are blurring for me, and I don't know where it ends. All I'm asking is for you to tell me the truth, that you're not lying to me. Can you not do that?
Flicker, you like them more than me.
There's more of them than there are of me. Just numerically, add up.
Yeah, well, go enjoy your numbers. I'm in the same situation as you, you know? But for me, it's always real, not sometimes a dream.
I'm not going to come looking for you until you tell me the truth, Lars. That's it. Until you tell me, word for word, Lorelei, I am Lars and I am not tricking you. If you can't say that, I'm not looking for you. Okay?
Lorelei, I don't know if I'm Lars anymore.
That's what I was afraid of.
I was, and I want to be.
Lars, you're supposed to be sleeping. I can't. If I'm all that's left of you, you need to let go of me. You need to rest. You deserve to.
No, I need to help. I need to protect. I need to be there.
You don't need to do anything.
Find me. Flicker.
Not until you tell me the fucking truth. And she's gonna smash the mirror against the wall. And then she's just gonna let out just a bellow of frustration. Just like the most blood-curdling, heart-wrenching scream of grief and frustration. And then she's gonna pick up her light again and wipe away the tears and dry off her forehead.
You look in the broken mirror and you see for a second 7 different faces in all the cracks reflecting off of each other. And then he flickers out and is gone.
She walks out of the room, sobbing.
And that monotonous ringing has stopped.
You need a fucking cigarette.
I thought that when I left Braylett that I'd never return. That I didn't have a reason to return, that I would never need to come back, that someone else would carry the burden of watching over the people that I didn't want to. And then I become important enough for bad people to notice me, and my own hometown's used as a bargaining chip to force me to do their bidding. And if I wasn't there, or I didn't make it in time, or we didn't do a good enough job, so many people could have died. But in the end, we succeeded. We didn't do it on our terms, but we won. There's more questions to ask. There's more things to do. We're not going to be done now or for a very long time, but today, Braylett continues to stand because of us. My family's alive because of us, and I couldn't have done it alone. And people followed me to what could have been their death just to save a small little town in the corner of Stensia. And for that, I think I'd probably give my life for them as much as they have for me. So now, in the hopes that Braylett is protected for the coming future, with proper Cathar's defense and all of that, we prepare ourselves for the journey ahead. There's more to do elsewhere, and we can't stay here forever. And even with the knowledge that my brother is planning something, I just have to accept that has to rest in the back of my mind, because I can't kill him. I can't fix him. I can't save him. I just have to be away from him. And maybe now I can love my family with a slightly lighter heart now that my dad doesn't hate me with every fiber of his being. So now we just need to prepare for everything else, which means I've run off to the forge to prepare whatever I can. I need to be ready. I need my friends to be ready, because if we can't do it, no one else will. And if we're not prepared, We're not going to be served a victory on a silver platter. We need to take it. And that means we need just as much firepower as the enemy does. So, for first real weapon made at the forge, I'll be making something for Amrita. It was hard. I didn't know what to make for her. I know she would hate to have the symbol of Avacyn on her weapon, so I made an exception this time. I hope she likes it.
Acrio, you're lined up with all the other Cathars at the Elgid grounds. High up in the mountains, the air is thinner, but you're used to that, climbing up into the mountains of Stinzia. There's a light drizzling rain that's fallen, so they've set up all these rows of, not tents exactly, but makeshift beams with cloth set up at kind of an angle to keep you all dry, waiting, listening to your instructors and the higher-ups in the church go through their speeches. You're having a hard time even focusing on their words for this graduation ceremony. What's going through Acrio's mind right now?
A disbelief that he has any reason to be a part of such a grandiose ceremony. However isolated it is, it feels like the same moment where Cithabella and Frederick confronted him at the forge. Like he knew this moment was coming, but it still feels as though he was caught off guard. Like, I am here, and this is where I belong. That's the hardest pill to swallow. And just the repeated droning in his mind of what comes next, what am I going to do? He's almost scared that with him being in such a ceremony that he'd also just be squared away with the rest of the Cathar, sent to back to his hometown or some other place of standard position where he kind of fades into the crowd of other Cathars.
The Bishop Buchanan of Haven Ghoul Cathedral is presiding over this ceremony. As you've witnessed from afar in prior years, graduates ahead of you, you're contemplating all of this, just envisioning the fields of Braylett, and he's moving down the line. You see he's got, almost walking in front of the bishop, moving up to each one of the graduates down the line, this small kind of strange looking man who's like hunched over, deformed. Part of his head is like swollen, maybe with like some kind of tumor that seals one of his eyes shut, but he's got like the church robes and stuff on as he's carrying this like tray with wax and parchment strips, moving up to each of them as he moves by, and finally up to you. The bishop takes one of the wax sticks, melts it, and takes a strip of the parchment, the official signifier that you are an official Cathar, places it on the piece of the armor on your belt with the symbol of Avacyn up near your heart. His old fingers press the wax up to it, and then using his bishop's ring presses that on with the symbol to hold it in place. A silver wax that then dries as he moves down the line, and you glance down to see the official stamp, and it's finally more real than it's ever been.
Would he have his helmet on? Are they fully in armor for the ceremony?
It's like dress armor, so no, your face would be uncovered and everything.
Got it. It's immediately like just trying his best to stay dead still like everyone else, just like holding his nose while his hands stay at his side, even though it's starting to run and tears are beating up in his eyes. He's both terrified of moving and making a scene, seeing as everyone else next to him just seems to be okay with this happening. It's just another part of their job, but it feels like a lot more to him, and he just is both scared and hopeful for the future.
And now you find yourself trudging back to Braylet yet again from the forge on another supply run. You need a few more things to complete this recent project, this wagon, and get a line on potentially some steeds to pull it, looking out over the ripening fields, taller green as they are nearing the harvest moon when the corn and the barley and stuff really starts to fruit before it turns, beige and prepares to be harvested. It's all still very green right now. You see wagon trains moving in from the mountains. You recognize miners hauling in ore and such to the city that is still in the process, midway through its rejuvenation. As you enter, you find streets that are being patched, pits that are being filled in, just constant hammers everywhere, from roofs that are being repaired, walls that are being shored up. Everybody is pulling together to work constantly, not only on their own fields and their own businesses, but many of them helping out their neighbors to rebuild. And you pass by the old, well, I guess he's not that old, but the newer blacksmith in town, Hannibal Ward, who is hard at work with, just constantly, mostly making nails for the reconstruction, just barrels of them being moved out. Women on the streets who have set up like large skillets on a rack over a fire where they're just like grilling meat and throwing in, vegetables and peppers and that sort of thing, where the people can take just a short break and they have like flatbreads they can just roll up real quick and eat before they get back to work.
Sounds so good. When I've already eaten, I would, that's a good shit right now. As much as he'd like to help, he knows that they'll be fine on their own, and he's one person among an entire army of people working together. But it warms his heart that for Stensians who are so cold to each other, that they're coming together and putting so much effort into helping each other. And it mostly, almost entirely melts away the fear that this place won't be okay when he leaves. There's confidence.
And just as you are having that realization, you hear a small voice call out your name. Sounds like probably a young-ish girl, woman.
Turn towards him.
You see a brown-haired, either teenager or maybe a little older. She's very youthful, approaching you with, she's almost skipping in your direction as she comes up and like grabs one of your gauntlets. And, oh, Acrio, we have been looking for you.
Hey, miss me much? Sorry, I don't think I've ever met you. What's your name?
It's been some time. You had classes with my sister. I'm Sophie, Leona. You recognize suddenly the face, but like she was a small child last you were in Braylet.
Oh, Abigail. I've been away for quite some time. Yeah, you were friends with her, I'm guessing?
Oh, your sister, yes, we were good friends. I do miss her, but I hope she's doing well.
Yeah. New places, new life. Anyway, you needed me for something?
Well, and turns and motions as you see a face that you recognize a little more readily from your school days. I think she probably would have had like, a year behind you potentially, but
they all kind of cram you into the
I was
same
going to say,
school.
yeah, it's like one room schoolhouse sort of situation.
Didn't they have like people all the way from high school to like grade school in one building?
Well, so Stinzy doesn't really do high school. It's like you have grade school ages, and then as soon as you turn like 12, you're sent to work.
Yeah.
So, around the same
people.
age. So yeah, you were a kid when you ended school. Plus, how often would Acrio have skipped school?
How long do you think? How often do you think?
At least once a week.
At least twice a week.
But yeah, you recognize Gertruda, though she's much taller now, straight brown hair, spectacles, which you don't remember her having as a kid, but you know a lot of people can't really afford that sort of thing when they're younger for children unless they really need them. So
Yeah.
she looks studious, carrying like a wicker basket. But Sophie would, to answer your question, say, "Oh, well, it's a small thing, I admit, but it's getting close to the harvest moon, and well, there's walnut trees that grow in a grove up the river, and well, my sister was hoping to collect some and maybe do something." She kind of like pulls her sister closer, do something that maybe we could thank you and everyone for saving the town, but she, well, wouldn't want to go out by herself. That would be dangerous.
Okay, Chewbacca.
Well, as you know, I'm a very busy man, and as much as I would love to spend the day collecting walnuts, I got a couple more things a little more important. But ask my brother, and he's got plenty of guard that'd be happy to go pick walnuts.
Well, the guards they're occupied with the town. It's on the way to that you've been coming back and forth. Maybe you could just on the way there, and I'm sure she can find her way back. And you see Gertruda is like, she almost like rolls her eyes.
All right. I'll bite. As much as I would hate to see you walking on your way back home, I suppose you can accompany me halfway.
That would be wonderful.
Got no reason to say no.
Make a perception check real quick.
Yeah. Perception. Do I get advantage on those, or is it?
Not a perception, no.
Oh, yeah, persuasion. It's got it.
So yeah, as the younger sister starts to leave you two alone, you see her just tug on Gertruda's hand and just gives her a very quick wink as she skips down the street, looking back over her shoulder.
Yeah, Acrio is like visibly uncomfortable. Like he can't put his helmet on right now, so that's just tucked it aside under his shield. All right. Well, I've got to go pick up some supplies. You're free to come along, but get to it soon enough.
She will smile. You see that hadn't really noticed before, but once it dawns on you, see she's like, it's the middle of the week, and yet it looks like she's wearing maybe her Sunday best dress with a high collar and pearl earrings, and yeah, not traveling outside the walls get up, as she has this basket in the crook of her arm, and she just smiles briefly. I can wait.
All right, well, if you want to meet me back here, I'll be an hour or so.
The southern gates.
Got it. All right. I'll go about my business.
And leave through the eastern gates.
Leave through the western gates. Avacyn, have mercy on my soul. Is Acrio an idiot?
I think he might be.
Yeah, let's see. One
I
second.
think it's a strong possibility.
Yeah, he's an idiot. All right. Yeah, so he will get the 6 war horses. What we're going?
Draft horses.
Draft horses. Yeah.
War horses are really expensive.
Yeah.
We ain't rolling in that kind of dough.
There's a reason why you only buy one of those.
And I don't know if you need 6. I mean, it depends on how many you want to buy. You could probably get away with 4 for them for the purposes of pulling this wagon you have prepared.
I'll figure out the coin math later. I forgot, it's been like a month. Yeah, at the deep down fear of letting someone down, he's not stupid, but the proposition that somebody would have interest beyond just going to get help picking walnuts is like so far out there that he just doesn't consider that a thing. Not like, Oh, she's just really unprepared for going to pick walnuts. How stupid of her. Just like the doubt that it's more possibility that it's a prank than anything else.
They're demons.
They're freaking demons, people!
Acrio, you would run into Zach at some point. What has he been doing during this time?
Shit, he's alive. All right.
Throughout all this time, Zach would be like, since this place seems to be like all friendly and all cool, he would stay in Braylett. He would help with the effort of like rebuilding, since he's like 2-in-1 special, baby. But yeah, he, when he's like all done, tired out, and ready to go to the end, he would either like drink with another mug like across from his table, signifying, that's York's mug. Or he would like have like a map of Innistrad. I'm guessing there's maps of Innistrad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sprayed out. Like he would like look at it. He'll try and figure out the best way out of Stensia. Since, some recent events drawn up some bad memories of vampires. Even though he's bought a giant demon worm and skin walking around. And whenever he can't figure it out, he'll just place his head on the map itself and talk to York. Be like, what are we doing, York?
You would have heard reports from the north, sightings of things as bad, if not worse, than the Devil Reaverax. Most people are cautiously suspicious if that's true, but the Ashmouth volcano did erupt not only a month ago, and that almost always signifies the presence of demons walking around in the world again, which hasn't happened in anyone's living memory. Avacyn had been diligent not only in combating them but binding them in the Hell Vault. So the only hope that you have is that perhaps maybe these are lesser ones that didn't have any reason to show their faces on the surface world, but now are seeing an opportunity, and maybe they're not as bad as all that, but they're still demons. And there's still this idea of maybe not be around here anymore. The Gyre Reach mountain range is incredibly difficult to make your way across, almost impossible with any kind of supplies, with the exception of the Cruin or the Gatander Pass, either into Gavany or Kessig, and both of them are perilous. Most people in Stensia claim they stay because of some sense of like pride and heritage, but there's also kind of this undercurrent of we can't really get out, not in mass.
Even if we did get out of Stensia, I doubt that we can really go far in the woods. York, or even the north seems like a bad idea. And he says this with like his head on the table like this.
Which is how Acrio would find him.
Zach, you're still alive.
Oh, Acrio. He like shoots up. It's been a while.
You're a very strange man, I will not lie. But you are a happy sight to see nonetheless, and he glances behind him. Come on, let's walk, let's
Make
talk.
a perception check.
Me or him?
Both.
Sure.
Got it.
As a 9. That shouldn't be with advantage. There we
Sure.
go.
So yeah, Zach, you don't know anything. Acrio, you see the hem of a dress move behind one of the corners. Same color that Sophie was wearing, but you can't be sure.
God, is she fucking stalking me? Okay, let's keep walking. Come on, Zach.
Sure, where are we going?
Yep, we're going to get some horses. Come on, we're walking and talking, buddy.
Oh, horses. I've never actually rode a horse.
Never rode a horse.
Oh.
You know what? We'll change that today.
He actually does make like a happy face, like, oh.
Pog face.
Yeah, pog.
Also, how many diamonds do you guys still have that have not yet been appraised, and would he be doing that at some point?
So where did we have the values for that? 278. The 305 we sold, and the 278 we sold. So we have 4 diamonds left, I believe.
No, we had 5, so we
There
have
was
3.
5 total.
Oh, okay. So we have 3.
Would that have been on his list of tasks to complete, either earlier in the day potentially, or still
Yeah,
2?
I feel like that's a good idea to just know what we have with a very brief and not so involved conversation with Lorelei to see if she'd be okay with getting them, because she was the one holding on to them. So he'd ask her if she thought it was a good idea.
Yeah, she would have entrusted them to him
Yeah.
quite readily.
So he has those tucked in his breast pocket, like tied down, very safely kept. Yeah, so he'll get those appraised. He'll buy the horses. Probably a good idea to say, like, at the same time, this is when he's selling the diamond that he got. So
Sure.
kind of
In order to finance his draft horse collection.
okay. So only one of those diamonds actually does anything. Hey, Cillian, give me my fucking diamond back.
The jeweler would probably say, these are rather raw. I could potentially cut them for a small fee, which drastically increase the value. I would purchase them off of you.
How much are we looking at?
Well, it depends on the style you're going for. We can do a classic diamond cut, squares. We can do circles. This one here would be particularly good for what they call the princess cut. I know that's not really a thing we do anymore, but the tradition has survived.
We'll do that. The other one's standard cut, maximum yield. Whatever will fit. I'll take the princess cut. Now, have you happened to procure a diamond of particular extraordinary worth similar to these in recent days?
Procure? I've mostly been selling this. Not exactly a buyer's market right now.
Yeah. Well,
Although the miners have returned, I may pilfer through their more rare finds.
does Acrio know that Cillian came here and sold? No, he might have sold somewhere else. Yeah, so we'll hold on to all 3, and I'll keep your offer in mind. These other 2 are, well, these 3 are for someone else, but the particularly high-quality one is also one I'd like to keep on hold of.
So
I
you're,
can't speak
you're
right
not
now.
selling.
Yeah, not selling.
All right. Well, we
Well,
can
this-
discuss
this-
price, but somewhere between 25 and 30 gold, I could probably cut one of these.
Yeah, this one, and he'll point to the one that's 278. My cut of it. We'll get this one cut,
Unique specimen. Excellent.
and I will have it sold to you.
Then yes,
So
he will set to work about that.
So, selling the 278, 363, 266, and 259 we'll all hold on to, square away, keep those. Not my place to sell them, I don't think, even though we can't use them for Revivify.
So the idea is if you increased the value by having it cut, that could potentially make it worth enough to be usable for that.
Oh, got it. I thought we were just like fucking role playing out how we got the value of 266 and 259.
Oh no, that's what they
I
are
was-
raw.
Ah, okay. I'm just a fucking idiot. Anyway,
Strong of heart, dumb of ass.
shut up. I'm not. So the 363 will leave raw, then the 266 and 259 we will refine, and then the 278, the one that I got, I'll just sell it raw.
It'll cost like he's willing to negotiate, but 25 to 30 gold per diamond to cut, and there's no guarantee it will be quite worth enough there, but it'll add another roll to it.
Okay. So I will pay 55 gold for the 2.
Sure, he would settle on that.
Thank you, good sir. Thanks, Zach, for backing me up. Really good at role-playing shopping here.
Some pretty rocks you got there.
They are very pretty rocks, and I'm happy to get them out of my possession as soon as possible. I don't like holding on to this much wealth if you catch my drift. Hey, what's
That's-
89 minus 55?
34? Yeah.
34. Thank you. Pay him the 55 gold to have the gems cut. I'll sell him my gem and I'll just keep the 363.
Mm-hmm.
Bid him good day, and get the fuck out of here.
Raylet was an experience, I'll say that. It was better than Corsiva, but it was still, I don't know how to describe it. Been in Stensia longer than I would have liked. And going to Shadowgrange, I couldn't help but still, as selfish as it seems or sounds, I don't know, I just thought it would be better to just leave. I had the capability of doing so, but I don't know. There's too much that's happened since then. From the time that I've gone to Sylvan with the others, to getting as far as we are now, I am well aware that the Vaporway and now Oblivion are not connected, but I'm not going to let Cillian know that, at least for a while. But I need to somehow see if I could get him to talk about it. I don't know if he will. We're on our way back from Shadowgrange now. I've managed to find a place to camp for the night. I'll be honest, I've just kind of been all over. Decided to get a set of new clothes, but before that, I have created 2 items. I'll wait to give them out when we're back in Braylet. Unfortunately, I didn't have access to mana to make them strong enough, and I also didn't have the money, but I hope they will be suitable for the people I will be giving them to. And the eye has been quiet, but when I get back to Braylet, I think in order to survive the Needle's Eye Pass and to get through it, I'm going to have to interact with the beast inside myself. I don't know what'll happen either, or if I'll tell anyone. Maybe at least tell Lorelei where I'm going in that moment, but just, I don't want anyone to be in proximity.
Amrita, you've got your eyes on the forest floor, scanning through the leaves, the underbrush, just head down, constantly looking, when you hear Garrick in a hushed voice, but you pick it up rather easily, saying, "Look up. You can't always look down. There's more to hunt than looking for tracks." You almost hadn't even heard him, despite being so massively large. He moves through the forest like a ghost. It's almost uncanny. You've been searching for hoof prints. Wild boar is what he had said that you were going to try to find today. Been equipped with a little short bow that you practiced with a few times, but a quiver full of arrows. You're getting better at it.
Mentor, may I ask you a question?
Ask.
Why do you still do this? Help me, I mean.
It is a favor. Now enough talking. The hunt requires all your senses. Your eyes, yes. But you have more than most. You must use your nose. Smell the beast around you. Smell the forest. It's alive. You will catch a scent before any other human might. Use that. Don't ignore it. You can't block things out. You're constantly blocking things out.
But she almost goes to say something, but she stares up and just tries to inhale and close her eyes.
Can I have you make a perception check with advantage? As you are beginning to focus, suddenly you are aware of the various trees, the pines around you in the Ulvenwald, but also the smell of dead leaves underfoot, animals somewhere in the distance, their remains on the trails. You pick something up, and Garrick, his face hidden behind this steel mask with like tusks built into it, you see him move that direction just as you pick it up, It's almost like he was waiting for you to notice, and then leads you that way. You follow this man in these furs and deep green leather coat, this massive great axe on his back, somehow able to stalk the forest as if he were part of it. Good. You're doing better. Use your nose. Use your ears. Listen. You don't hear me. Nothing should ever hear you. The beasts, they hear everything. They will move. You must move without being heard. And I need you to make a stealth check. Following his lead, you are suddenly more aware of your surroundings. You've cautiously avoided stepping on any sticks that might break, but hadn't really worried if you moved through some of the underbrush and just pushed the branches aside and that sort of thing. But now you're seeing how he moves himself, and you follow that style, getting lower and not even touching anything. It's almost like you are air in the forest.
Careful of the crunchy leaves and don't trip over that stick. Listen to the sound of the wind, okay?
And you will know when it is time to use your eyes. You see it.
It's up and around and straight ahead.
It's not even quite straight ahead, but you catch the sight of a bird hopping from one branch to another, squirrels running up the trunk of a tree, but then there's a bit of movement. You hear what sounds like maybe earth being moved, something digging, and shifting your angle a bit. You can see through the leaves this massive boar, like rutting in the ground. It's like partially torn up, its fur is mangy, it looks ragged, and there's definitely, when the wind shifts, this smell of old dried blood coming from it.
Does it smell like the boar's blood?
It smells like livestock of some kind. Boars can be aggressive and vicious, and you would suspect that the reason Garrick was contracted to hunt this thing down is that it has become a nuisance and a hazard to the people of Lamholt.
Look at him before going to reach her bow, but still looking at him at the boar.
He would just nod silently as he pulls off the great axe, and you see him run the blade down his left arm, or the forearm, the way you know to do as well now. And as his blood connects with the steel, you see it crystallize, his eyes turning this icy blue as frost covers his blade, and nods for you to go one way as he branches off the other.
Whoa. She just like walks in the opposite way. She'll just take one of the tip of her fingers and just like...
It's still shocking, not just the pain, but when the arrow tip breaks the skin, seeing the sparks and the flames ignite on it from your blood.
Her veins feel like they're on fire, and the inside of her body just not used to it.
In Shadow Grange, you have come to collect the reward for the Barghest that you had managed to hunt down with Cillian's aid. You're not sure where he's gone to at this point after you've made your way back to the town built into the side of this mountain, and you spot on the wall various wanted posters, mostly not for creatures though, but at this garrison it's people. The one you recognize, or two I should say, Gideon Hawthorne, who you had met briefly, as well as the thief that had lured you to Corsiva, the one known as Four-Finger Fabian.
She will find somebody that looks like they're doing paperwork or creating other posters, perhaps.
One of the clerks who is counting out the reward for this Barghest and sliding the coin across to you.
Thank you. I have a question. When is the last that anyone has seen the man known as Four-Finger Fabian, specifically in this area?
Oh, it's been quite some time. He makes his way around. Bit of a scoundrel.
I've met him, so I'm familiar.
Oh, well, I'm sorry about that. Listen, don't let this get around, but Fabian's actually my sister-in-law's cousin. He's always been a vagabond.
With that face.
I know, it's not like he was destined for it or nothing. Started with just stealing cattle and then it got to be digging up graves. I don't know where he went wrong, but listen, I don't know what interest you've got in him, what he's done to you. It's not my business, but I wouldn't mind. I prefer to see him come back alive, all right? Everything he's done, he is kin, but if you happen to run across him, if that's your thing, hunting these bounties, bring him back alive. I can add another 10 gold to that reward myself.
What is your name, sir?
He would tell you it.
That will be noted. And then she will leave and go to another shop and try to obtain a journal with a lock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can find Shadowgrange has a decent bookstore, paper mill, small printing press for mass-produced flyers and that sort of thing. So,
because I imagine she'd already spent money on the bracelets she made, and then she just went ahead and bought her clothes instead. But as for the
yeah, how
book
does
with
she
the
look
lock,
now after this time and this encounter with a dog or wolf or something that had been possessed and kind of changed by an undead spirit? After hunting all that down, what's her appearance like now?
probably a little underweight, bags under the eyes. She hasn't really given herself proper rest, thinking about several things, but also just trying not to go completely crazy, not hearing the eyes say anything at all, and not having to feel a pull of the beast lately. But there's that lingering feeling of when there will be another full moon. And she's in this longer maroon tunic thing that's over her clothes and like a belt around it. Her other clothes she probably put in some kind of bag, maybe to ask if Cillian could sew that at some point for her. But yeah, she's just looking for Quell and ink at this point.
Yeah, you could find this leather-bound, handmade paper, obviously, journal with a clasp on the front, pressed leather with the strips that have bound up the edge and flap that comes over the face of it to lock with a small padlock. That sort of thing is a little pricier, but if that's what she's interested in,
Yeah. Is there anything that I could trade to lower the price on this?
Such as?
Shouldn't take me long. Do you need any fur off of animals? Anything specific?
Well, we do a fair amount of leather work, but fur is not really it's good. Well, some embellishments maybe, but I don't know how much it would go toward the reduction of currently crafted items. If you had something tangible in hand.
Looking at her stuff right now. She'll pull out the knife she has that Remus had gave back to her and just lay it on the table. I don't have a lot on me. This is a simple knife, but
Make a persuasion check.
it's not going to be good.
He'll look you up and down. Take the knife, pull it out of the little sheath and look at it. It's obviously fairly well worn, skinning hunting dagger. Slides that across the table again. Tell me this. Keep that. Pats it. What kind of adventures you intend to record in this journal? Tell me some of them and I'll consider that worth the fee.
I'm not a person that writes words specifically, but
You might want to start if you're purchasing something like this.
Fine. Have you ever encountered certain people in your life where in the beginning they pester you nonstop, and then you find some stuff out that they're struggling with, whether it be an illness or a curse, and their need of not being forgotten? Words just cannot describe or do it for people that enter your life such as that. Rather, imagery, I've come to find, is more appealing to the eye, and some people that I meet along the way, I feel that it's better to memorize what their face looks like, draw it as many times as I have to remember it. Maybe write a note here or there that reference something that pertains to them.
This is Stinsia, after all. Nobody wants to be forgotten. Everybody is sooner or later. And he'll like take the quill and ink that you had on the counter and like pull them back, slide them to the side, and instead pull out from behind it a set of pencils and charcoals. I think this might be better suited to your needs.
Yes. Thank you. How much?
Cillian would have definitely given you money if you asked for it. I'm just not sure if you would have.
She wouldn't have. That's the thing, so.
I think 9 is worth that little bit of poetry.
9 it is then.
What is Amrita's demeanor riding back toward Braylett after the brief encounter at the crossroads with the Vistani? Did she stay far afield of this group after her encounters outside of Braylett, or would she have gone with Cillian to speak with them?
I think she would try to speak with another one that wasn't the Rango guy. Django guy, sorry. She will quietly inquire if they have heard tales of something pertaining to the Vaporway.
Roll a d100. Yeah, while you get the scent in the air of things that are being smoked off by the campfire where Django and Cillian are conversing, one of the women would say, "Yeah, I'm familiar. The Daughters of Miasma. They are an elusive troop."
Do you know how it started at all, or because of how they are, no one really knows, or I'd probably have to have something proper to trade in return to find more information out?
Everything starts one way, with some truth, and then some myth, and then some legend. But I couldn't tell you what is what.
All right. I guess I'll just ask someone else along the way.
Why so interested?
To be honest, or to not... It caught my interest in, I believe, a book in Silburn.
That's the problem with books. They always catch your interest, but they never tell the full story. So yeah, Acrio, eventually you are making your way outside of Braylett toward the gates.
Oh, Garrick? Wait. Your fucking mentor's Garrick?
You're just now discovering this?
Your fucking mentor's Garrick?
Yes? He's been referenced a lot at the beginning? Focus on Acrio, damn it.
I just looked at Roll20 to get into character, and I see Garrick Wildspeaker meandering about my front page. On his way out, I want Zach to come with me just for consolation, but...
I mean, Zach's cool with coming with you.
Okay, idea, perfect. Along the way, Acrio will talk with Zach. There's someone that wishes to accompany me halfway to somewhere I'm going. Do you mind coming with me and seeing that she gets back to town safely?
Sure. A friend of yours is, I assume, a friend of mine. And yours, of course.
Yeah, we'll call them a friend. We'll call them a friend. Yeah. Acrio is like that, like a stress headache when he's like rubbing his temple. All 4 draft horses in one arm, rubbing his forehead as he walks with the other hand.
You're all right. I guess I could take the reins if you want me, from what you taught me.
No, you know what? Sure. how about you give it a try? You ever ridden a horse before? I'm guessing not.
Nope.
Basically, draft horse. You get on top of them, they walk in a straight line, they'll follow me. Normally you have reins, you pull on the reins to direct them, but they should just relatively go in a straight line. Yeah,
They're mostly
we'll see
bred
how this-
for pulling plows and that sort of thing. So, yeah, they're not the most. At least the ones you would have purchased are not like designed to be ridden, but at the same time, so there's no saddles or anything like that. But they're not like wild, so they're not likely to buck him off.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
they're big. So let me give you a hand up. Hold my hands up to give them a boost.
I guess he'll accept the help.
Yeah.
Launch him over the side of the horse.
Yeah, just whoosh, shot put him over it. Yeah, just my recommendation, don't grab their mane and pull on it.
That's
And I'll
so tempting.
lift him up onto the horse. Yeah, I'll just watch with like my hands up to make sure he doesn't fucking die.
Just falls over to the other side.
Oh yeah.
Fucking dumb.
While you're up there, where'd you come from? And I'm starting to talk as I walk towards the front entrance. You just kind of showed up out of nowhere.
I came from Corsica, but I've been around. I've been trying to find my way out of Stenzia with no avail, as you can tell.
Yeah, it's quite a journey to get in and out. Understand that. You born and raised here, I'm guessing.
Yeah, me and York. Sadly, didn't really have much of a family to begin with. Only York was my only family. Is my only family. He's still around, of course.
Now, I don't mean to intrude in your personal business, but that whole your brother, something happened with him? It was a little more see-through than most people.
If he died, of course. I got him killed. But he's back. He's all better now. He's back, of course. You know, as far as I can tell, no hard feelings. But I was just stupid.
That is something I've noticed. The uniqueness of your circumstance. Your brother seems to have no ill will, of course, against people, but he is very much visible. I thought most peaceful geists were unable to be seen. I don't even fucking know about Cillian. I don't have that for reference.
He's a lot different than before, too. His form more resembles me, but he wasn't like this before. I'm not too sure how it happened or why, but I'm just glad he's back. I've explained this to Cillian before, but it's kind of hard to explain as he rubs the back of his head.
Right. Vistani. Well, whatever the case, I'm glad to have another capable person on board. And if you are willing, happy to have another. We've been hurting for more help, but hard to find good folk.
I hope I'm good enough. I'll be truthful for you when with you. When I heard you lot was going to be a vampire, I was scared for you. That's why I didn't join with you lot to go to it.
And
I thought it was gonna be another York situation.
being afraid, it's just a natural human interaction, human emotion. It's good to be afraid. It's just bad to run away.
You see him like silent and look to the horse as you say that, and then he nods his head.
At the gates, you can see the taller, older Leona's sister in her cornflower blue dress and basket in the crook of her arm stand up from one of the benches in front of business that stationed near the gate, just waiting for you.
Would Acrio remember her name? I don't think he would in this short amount of time.
Ice cold.
Let's roll
Ice cold heartbreaker, baby.
Let's roll an intelligence. Yeah, he would remember her name. What was it?
Gertruda.
Tristan. Gertruda.
They called her Gertie back at school.
Oh, that's an unfortunate name.
Gertie. Oh, God.
It was not intended to be nice.
Okay.
Oh, fuck.
Got it. You know what? We'll just go nameless, as I do with most new people I meet.
Yes.
With a wave, he approaches her as she stands up. All right, ready to take off?
Mm-hmm.
I hope you don't mind. Have some cargo I'm bringing in, some company as well.
No, that's fine.
Hi, I'm Zach Francis Morgan. Nice to meet you.
Oh, pleasure.
All right, well, three's a party. Let's get going. I want the sunset before we make any distance.
Following the creek that comes from the south in the mountains, make an insight check.
Yep.
Both of us or just him?
You can both do it, yeah.
Ouch.
Just one better.
Yeah, and I have a +7.
Yep.
Gertrude is a bit reserved. She makes pleasant conversation, and yeah, you notice she tries a little too hard to keep talking as you all are making your way out past the cultivated fields near Braylet, following the stream to this grove where you know several bodies had been pulled out. Amrita had found undead that had been chained and weighted down in the water. She would mention one of them, from what I understand, was a priest. Used to serve at the church.
This church?
Braylet, yes.
People disappearing all the time, and I thought it was only vampires we had to worry about.
Same.
Not anymore. Listen, I'm thankful that you played along with my little sister's schemes. But it doesn't have to mean anything, I assure you.
Yeah, I didn't know if those intentions were your own or your sister's, but they are quite obvious.
I do have a fair amount of skill, cooking, and I have a job, but I can keep a tidy house.
Yeah. Look, I ain't settling down for the next 20, 30 years and leaving someone behind to take care of themselves by themselves without me ever visiting. Listen, I appreciate very dearly.
May I be frank with you, Acrio? I know it's been some time. I was the eldest, still am, of my father's children. My parents always said, Gertrude, if you don't want, you don't have to serve the church. You don't have to go to Korsava or anywhere else. Tradition be damned. I like my job at the bookstore. I do a little writing. But recently, the bishop has been sending out missives, requesting those who have not reported or been trained, specifically in Braylet and some of the other towns, to do our duty. My sister, she thought maybe if we had made a match and I could assist with the forge, it would preclude me having to do anything, go anywhere else. I could stay here. Silly, I know.
Then I have an offer to make. The forge does need additional minds, bright ones, and you seem like a very bright woman. But I do have another.
Pushes up her glasses.
But the forge does need occupants. And if you're willing to put in the effort to become a Cathar, then there will be a place at the forge for you, and maybe I can pull strings and you can visit your family I think it'd be a good fit for you. We do need someone. We've got a hell of a lot of knowledge, and I am not an educated man.
And I am not Cathar material. I never have been. But I understand.
Well, maybe I can change some minds regardless. Do I know the ins and outs of people a part of the church? Like, they don't all need to be Cathars, right? Like, some
No,
can
no.
be...
So, yeah, it's the way Stinzia has always operated is that, the eldest is kind of supposed to serve the church in some capacity.
Okay.
But whether that's a priestess or Cathar or whatever it is that's most needed or capable. But yeah, it usually does require traveling either to Thraben or the Elgid grounds or somewhere else, and then making the journey back. Several years typically they'll be gone, and as you know, not all of them make it back.
Yeah. Well, it's obvious you ain't a fighter. Acrio's accent is just going...
Where are we going?
There is purpose to be served there. So before you answer the call to be a Cathar or a priestess or whatever, I have several people I need to speak with. And before I leave Braylet, you will have an answer, because I do think there is most definitely a need for bright minds at the Forge. You have my word?
Make another insight check.
Okay.
Yeah, she seems crestfallen would be the best way to put it. But yeah, as you see, she's beginning to fill her basket during this time. She'll look down and just nod. I understand.
I may have the title of Forge Master, but my path is a bloody one, and the people I walk it with are just as prepared for the horrors ahead, and I don't think you're ready for that. I don't think you deserve that.
Thank you for saying so. Only because I agree. But I wouldn't want to propose anything that you wouldn't be comfortable with.
And just so you make it back safely, Zach here will show you the way. Make sure you get there safely.
Of course.
Cut to Zach, like, petting the horse aggressively.
No, that's York's job. He didn't say anything about York. Yes, I'm sure there's a lot of brains that go behind a bronze. I'll of course be the bronze and you be the brains. On the way back, of course.
Laugh a bit at that. I did intend to bake a walnut pie. Maybe you would care to share it with me?
Never had a walnut pie. I guess that would be a nice thing. Never York would like that. He whispers that because I'm pretty sure she doesn't know who the fuck York is.
She does not, so she gives you a little bit of a quizzical look, but
yes, I would like that.
Lorelei, there's not a vast amount of wooded area around the base of the mountains where the forge is hidden, and even less flat, like marshy areas, but near the river where it's changed direction and over time just created almost like a small silty, not exactly an oxbow lake, but enough shaded, moist ground that's not flowing, that it's started to stagnate. You find yourself ankle deep in that water as you're foraging.
Got the skirt
Would she have
tied up
taken
around
her
the waist.
shoes off? Yeah.
Yeah, shoes off, but like skirt's bunched up, cloak is like thrown like back over her head just so it doesn't drip in the water.
You've been able to collect
the moss as the moss is like throwing it out.
Over the time that you've been here, various little bits and interesting plants that you never found on the moors, things that are unique to Stinzia, but there's always something more out there.
Yeah, she takes a minute to like marvel at the new flowers and stuff, because we're sort of into the new moon season, aren't we? So it's like things have been flowering.
Yeah, well into. It's approaching the harvest moon season, like maybe a week until the new moon and the actual, well, what they would call the black moon and the change of seasons.
But stuff would still be flowering, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, like it stays that way well into. The harvest moon is like The first part of is what you would consider their summer, which is fairly short, but then goes into more the autumn season. So yeah, it's getting to be the warmest part of the year.
Yeah, and she's just enjoying herself because this is almost her element. She's not very like educated when it comes to flora and fauna, but she's spent so long literally living off of it that she kind of has a kinship with it.
Things that grow here, they don't bloom very bright most of the time. A lot of flora that you're familiar with reaches toward the sun, and there is no sun to be found here. So a lot of stuff, flowers are very subdued, very small, and usually the ones that do try to attract insects, a little bit more Venus flytrap-like.
I was just about to say that they're carnivorous plants. Hell yeah, she's way into that.
But yeah, as you're observing all that, you feel this like sudden pinch on your ankle.
Gonna fish my leg out.
Shock of pain, and as you pull your leg up out of the water with a bit of a start, you see this several inch long, like black squirming thing attached to your skin.
Hey guys! She's like immediately friendly, like her face lights up, and she's gonna try and actually no, she's gonna like sit on the end of this, at the edge of this little pond situation, and let it do its thing for a bit. She's just gonna sit there with it dangling her feet in there. She's like, oh.
There's probably a tree that's fallen over and log that's rotting that you can sit amongst the fungi that's growing up it.
Yeah, and she's just gonna let open banquet season while she's wiping the mud and stuff off of like moss and flowers and stuff that she's picked.
She can't look much more pale despite a loss of blood, so.
Yeah, and if she feels a little bit giddy, she's gonna try and coax it off. And I imagine she would have a jar that she's been collecting her things in, and she's just gonna just try and gently coax it into there. I don't want to leave you alone. I should get you a friend. She's gonna arms deep, elbows deep in the water, and try and find a second leech.
Yeah, that's easily done after a moment.
Yeah, and she's just gonna fill up the jar with these two leechy friends, and then screw the lid on, look at them, shake them around a little bit.
Tap the glass.
Yeah, like the girl,
do that.
The girl in Finding Nemo, just like fishy, fishy, fishy. And she sits down and thinks about how she doesn't know that much about things in general. She's pondering, like, I don't know what I'm fucking doing out here. Like, I don't know what any of this does. I don't even know if I've just captured a creature that, upon eating blood, is going to explode and then kill me. Like, I don't know. And she just thinks for a second about being on this, being near the forge is like this great place of crafting and making shit, and it dawns on her she hasn't tried practicing that sending messages in a while, because I feel like she's been attempting to do it over this past season and it just hasn't worked, and I feel like she's given up on it a bit, and sort of I don't want to say looking at the leeches reminded her of Repellum, but it's like the kind of little just lumpy little guy just subconsciously brought it back, and she's going to attempt to send a message to Repellum. And I imagine she does it like cupping her hands, collects the message in like a bit of breath. Like, even though it's not that cold, it gathers as vapor. It's sort of something she's rehearsed a little bit, but she doesn't really know what she's saying. Hi, Repellum. I hope you can hear this. We defeated Riverax in Braylet. Amrita said Selene is looking for you, so I guess you should keep your... And that's where it cuts off, but she's going to keep going. So I guess you should keep your eye out for that. Do you know anything about leeches? I just found some. You always really smart. I'm not really smart. I would just like... Are you okay? Are you still alive? I'm still alive, clearly. Are you okay? This message has never worked before. I hope you can say something back to me. I hope this isn't annoying. And she just keeps like going like that for a while.
Midway through, you're suddenly interrupted, which has never happened before. Usually ramble until you can't say anything else, or you know it isn't going to work, but suddenly there is a feeling more than anything else in your mind. You don't hear the words, but you experience them. Just as you're in the middle of speaking, you suddenly stop and you feel a voice that doesn't quite croak as much as Repellum does when he physically speaks. The jaw being a little bit uneven always made it sound a little odd, but in this case, it's as if he could speak a little more clearly. Noted. You're still with Amrita. Don't contact me this way. They're listening.
Sits back on her laurels a little bit, freaked out, mind racing, like, who's listening? And then realizing that she got a reply, she wants to try something a little riskier. Would she be able to attempt to sending to the necromancer now?
She could certainly attempt it, riding the high of actually having it succeed, channeling more mana that she's ever done before to make that happen.
Maybe a little delirious from a bit of blood loss.
Sure, yeah.
Did you want an Arcana check for that or something? I think I remember you saying.
So, yeah, because you're not intimately familiar as much as she thinks she is with this.
Yeah, I haven't
the
really
target of this.
Yeah, I haven't really interacted with him. I'm not familiar with him as a concept.
The necromancer is a social construct.
Yeah, it really is a social construct. Oh, I'm not good at Arcana. So I want to cheese this a little bit. I still have inspiration from like doing a recap like months ago. Can I use that for advantage on this?
Sure.
Because I want this to sort of be like her just throwing all caution to the wind and attempting it anyway. 17.
Explain what made Lorelei jump from that experience to suddenly coming up with this idea. What's her headspace right now?
Well, she was thinking, because she wants to find the necromancer in a sick, twisted way. And in her mind, if she can contact someone, regardless of where they are, she can maybe find them. And that was sort of, aha, I have this link, I can use this. And then Repellum saying they're listening, she's like, I wonder if he's also looking for me. Because she does have this sort of paranoia that she's always being followed by him, some way or another. Rather than running from it, she's trying to face it head on.
So yeah, what does she send?
I know, I should have really thought about this a little bit more further. I didn't think it would work. Sitting back, cradling this jar in her lap, staring off into the woods, and I feel like it reminds her of sitting and staring off into the woods in her youth, and she would just be waiting, passing the time, waiting the hours through. In that moment, she feels like her child self again. Can you hear me? I hope you can. I'm the one you let live, and I'm gonna make you regret it.
As the words are caught and released, and you channel the last bit of this most potent mana, would Lorelei draw on any black mana in this moment?
Probably. I feel like she would use anything she could get her hands on. Anything that intuitively called out to her, any mana that she could latch onto, she would use. It's like, I don't care what I'm using, I want this to work at any cost.
Even the midday shadows in this little foresty, not bog exactly, but waterlogged area start to deepen. The trees seem further away. Everything is distant as you are focusing and putting these words out into wherever they might go. You feel as though there's a reply in the way you had felt Repellum's words coming back, but they don't manifest as words. Can I have you make an insight check? The feeling you get is that same strangely uncomfortable feeling Lorelei has whenever a stranger smiles at her.
Like, I need an insight check in real life to decipher what the fuck that means. I feel like she might be disgusted by that she didn't get like any kind of defensive response, and she was hoping for maybe some sort of grandstanding evil monologue, but she didn't get that, and she's upset, so she just grabs her shoes, doesn't even bother putting them back on, tucks the jar of leeches under her arm, and runs back to the forge.
Amrita and Cillian both making their way back toward Braylett, getting closer to evening now. You've made decent time. Amrita keeping her horse strangely ahead of Cillian. Like he kept trying to keep up and make conversation, but at the same time, she just kept moving ahead without saying anything, keeping a bit of distance. It's odd, and I don't think he knows exactly why, though he probably has suspicions. But he knows that she liked to scout ahead with the rest of the group whenever they traveled, so probably resigns himself to that. But yeah, she's keeping a bit far afield when Braylett finally comes into sight.
I want to talk to Reagan when she's a bit in front of me. I was going to tell the story about the 7-stringed guitar. It's a good one, and she just won't listen to me. She went ahead in the middle of the story. That's the best part of the story.
Yeah, but only if you're listening to the first part. It's all the build-up that really matters.
I thought we'd made leaps, you know? I thought we'd made steps forward, and now it's fine. At least we're here now. We get to see Asuriel. That's nice. We get to see Lorelei. That's... We get to see Acrio. It's been too long. Think they dig the new look?
And maybe that's the problem. It does look a little bit off. Maybe she's just off-put by the color.
Yeah, that's
it
probably
doesn't quite match.
Okay. Blonde, what do you think? I'm fucking with you. There's no way in hell I'm going blonde. Towards Braylett. Amrita, we can at least arrive together. What do you think?
You're pretending she's not hearing him. She's just still like going rapid. Like her mind is in several places, and so much so that she didn't get to really ask that question she was meaning to ask, and doesn't even know if she wants to ask it now at this point in time. Oh my goodness. My goodness. Like she's very frazzled, but just moving on ahead.
Right, it's just you and me, wingman. I sort of pet my horse's head.
Yeah, describe what kind of horse, like the coloration and everything like that.
His horse looks like him. It's brown with white spots. And I think, this is sort of your job, I think this horse humbles Cillian a lot. Tries to buck him off in ironic moments.
Sure.
Yeah. Already done with his shit.
Gotcha. Yes. Has a mind of its own.
Mm-hmm.
And is also annoyed by stories.
Sentient horse.
I think at some point, if Amrita does get distracted, she almost probably bumps into like a set of rocks and like reins between your back. It's like, damn it. So it causes her to slow down and probably allows Cillian and Wingman to catch up. Freaking Wingman. That's hilarious, dude.
Well, that's not like you.
What?
Well, you and Petunia are normally in sync, you know?
Amrita, you've noticed that over time, riding throughout Stinzia, Petunia was always mostly white, little grayish, but had kind of this shock of black in her mane. But as you look down and see where you've pulled back, the mane's starting to go a little more gray itself. She's lost the brightness in her color. You knew she was old when you first purchased her, but Amrita riding typically or always without a saddle, you've started to notice more of her spine protruding a little bit. It's not like she's starving, but it's just old age.
I guess. She's just not really looking at him at all, just looking in different directions, trying to redirect Petunia. I better just get off and start walking instead.
I mean, I'm fine with that. I'm a good walker. I mean, Braylett's like right there, so we'll be there in 15 minutes anyway.
You could walk ahead of me. It's fine.
We'll walk next to each other, because we're not idiots. I'm fine with not talking, just ask me not to.
Yeah. She doesn't say anything else.
Exchange a sitcom look with Reagan, and walk silently towards Braylett.
Over the next few days, you are able to find rooms at the inn where they repaired part of the roof that was destroyed. The Dog and Duck pub, you notice, has new management, a new bartender, unlike the one you had seen before everything that went down. At some point, you all find yourself collected up in various means, herded together, like everybody's like, oh yeah, you have to follow us. And it's this weird moment where Amrita, you don't really know why everyone's directing you this way, but you follow along and see Acrio and Lorelei, Zach and Asuriel standing with a group around them, and there's this like wagon, almost looks like a Vistani wagon in the middle of the city. You're not sure what that's about. What's her reaction to seeing everyone again?
She'll stop walking, even though she's being directed that way, glances at Asuriel a few times and back and forth to Lorelei as well, but definitely keeps her eyes away from Asuriel.
Who's like
Probably
waving and like
doesn't even-
trying to get your attention.
Yeah, she probably just gets so distracted, so much noise around her that she probably doesn't even notice if Cillian walks past her as well, just standing there.
Yeah, dead sprint towards everyone.
Woo! Sup, bitches?
Lorelei immediately breaks away and she's like half jogging over to them.
How have you all been? It's been too long. And it's just Lorelei's in front to give Lorelei a hug first, and then go to Asuriel, and then see Acrio and sort of try to gauge the energy.
He looks tired. You don't even need to make an insight check
Muted.
for the muted Tristan.
He's,
But yes,
deliberately dicking
No.
around.
yes. But yeah, he looks a little more exhausted than you've ever seen, while his hammer's just resting as it does standing on its own. He's got his hand leaned on it, but yeah, he looks like he's more sleep deprived than usual.
So after
Yeah.
swinging Asuriel around, I just go in for the handshake and the hand on the shoulder with Acrio.
Yeah, similarly. You pat on the shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
How many
And
pats?
Zach, buddy, you're here too. And I try to, just to see if he can keep up, I try to do like a complicated handshake with him.
Oh, you
Zach,
asshole.
Zach's gonna try and
Dex
keep
save.
up.
You're gonna too slow him? Dickhead.
Make a sleight of hand check, both of you.
Let's see if I can.
Competition.
Yes,
Maybe-
16.
No!
Oh, shit,
Fucking rogue!
So
Run
yeah,
your shot.
Zach, you find yourself like getting caught up momentarily, but as you pause, Cillian, you see this Geist-like hand reach out of the other part of his arm and keep up effortlessly, and then just at the end,
Nice.
You're okay, no bitch.
Got me up.
Impressed.
York got them moves.
How are you all?
Good. As you can tell, dirty, but good. And like, it's just his clothes that's dirty, not just, not his face or anything else.
looks like he's been working.
Well,
I like the dude.
thanks. Right. Turn toward Dragon.
Like, I'm just saying, it looks obvious.
Where did this thing come from? And I sort of slap the side of this wagony cart.
You can see of the Braylet locals that are gathered around, one of them is the old burgomaster, Archer Clements, who's looking even worse for wear now, hunched over in his wheelchair that's been wheeled out into this city street where you've all been collected up, and they say, "Now, everybody, huddle together. Want to get this right the first time."
Oh, first time? Huh?
And before anyone answers, you see the back of the wagon, like the curtains pull open, and this accordion-like device starts to extend out from it with this glass lens in the center.
Yeah, Amrita's still standing far distance away in a daze.
What is that thing?
The latest and greatest in photographic technology. We have to capture the heroes of Braylet,
I sort of
You all
look
going
around
to be
to spot them.
memorialized. Of course, nobody wants to forget you.
I offered to make it out of stone, but they insisted on the picture.
There's gonna exist forever. Yes. All gather. Amrita, you can't say no to this one. You can stand off to the side, Moody. You gotta come right now.
What? She's in a daze, tired, but just stares over and like edges a little bit closer, nods her head at Lorelei, but just, yeah.
I lean into Lorelei and say, "She's been like this for a couple of days at least. It's getting annoying, to be honest."
Lorelei, the exact same way.
Oh, wow, everyone is such a fucking downer. Okay, I'm in the middle, because we need some photogenic people here, okay?
Just call
this-
us ugly. It's quicker.
You're ugly.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Told you I was going to be honest with you from now on.
When
This is
he
a-
turns away, Lorelei's going to hold up a jar of leeches right by his head and just wait for him to turn back around.
Okay, so I think Zach, you're going to be out on the outside, buddy. Sorry. What? Fuck you! What the fuck is that?
This is Weepy and Willow.
Weepy, you gave them names?
Yes, they're medicinal leeches.
Okay,
Yeah,
very
yeah.
just keep them away from me.
They're in a
You're
jar.
not-
They can't hurt you. Ugh.
Can you guys just argue another time and just get this over with, please? And Amrita
Yeah.
just goes and just like stands and looks off in the distance again. Just go ahead and take the picture, please. I'm really tired.
My first time taking a picture. What am I supposed to do? What do I do
don't-
something with my hand?
Whatever
Just
they said that
Hold
is.
still.
Yeah. Don't even
And-
know what a picture is.
Yeah, and you see one guy like stands in front of like the accordion part with holding the cap that's on the front of it, while someone else has a device to make a flash. They don't have gunpowder in this. It might be flash paper or something like that set up. So
Flour.
yeah, everybody's like, okay, perfectly still. Any movement will ruin this. And then the cap is taken off, and there's this flash all in your eyes. You try not to blink. And he puts it back on, and everybody starts like coming up, and everybody wants to shake your hands and ask, invasive questions.
Cillian basks in this.
Yeah, Acrio in his exhaustion is doing his best to socialize with as many people as possible.
Yeah, Amrita will try and slink away, not far enough to where the others can't see her, but needs to breathe.
Lorelei's gonna peel away and like follow her. Approach like she's going in for a hug, but she like visibly freezes and rechecks her posture. Stands near Amrita, trying to give her company, but not saying anything.
Zach will try his best to be as social as he can.
Yeah, Amrita actually looks at Lorelei like she sees that Amrita looks like she's staring back at the others again, but then like quickly looks at her. It's like, all right. She awkwardly like will like put her arms out and everything. Hey, Lorelei, you want a hug?
Yeah, and she just hugs her really tight, and she starts like sniveling into her shoulder.
My waist, Lorelei.
Sorry, I just really missed you. I didn't think you were gonna come back. I thought you and Cillian would have taken the first opportunity and just would have shot off and never come back. But you did. You came back.
Yeah, kill it. Why don't we take a walk briefly? Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the two of us.
I sent a message to Helen, by the way. He said not to. He said they're listening, so might get in trouble. But I told him about River Axe, so he knows.
I see.
I thought he should.
But yeah, why don't we just go have a moment to ourselves, just for a while, for old time's sakes?
Yeah, of course, absolutely. It's just stiff as a board following Amrita. Cillian says you've been off past few days. Is everything all right?
Off? No.
I don't know. He said you were acting annoying, but that's Cillian.
No. I think we just it was just a disagreement on the contract of the job where I told him we probably could have gotten more if it was a written contract rather than shaking hands or anything of that sort. Nothing else happened. I promise.
Okay. There is X'd out, just like X'd out completely on her face, but she's not gonna blush.
Okay, I was like, do I need to roll anything? Because
What's your passive deception?
0 probably. If my charisma is 0.
Then it would be a 10. So yeah, generally not
Not
the
a
most
good liar.
convincing.
Not a good liar. No.
There's like this different look in her eyes for once that just seems confusion and tired. What have you been up to?
Foraging mostly.
As I can see, leeches.
They're medicinal.
Interesting.
Didn't someone say there was like an illness up in Hanway, and if we're going that way, I thought medicinal leeches, it might do something. I'm not great at medicine, but bit of bloodletting. They're really friendly.
Yeah, I see. Found some more information out on Fabian, and well, debating on if we should find him or I should find him to bring him back, dead or alive. They seem to want him alive. They'd pay more, it seems.
How do you feel about that?
Well, given that he also seems to be a corpse trader, that's up in the air. Ugly mug. Can't say I wouldn't beat the living crap out of him when I see him. I have something for you.
You do?
Yeah. And
I have
Amrita
something
just
for
like...
you too, actually. Another one of those angelic seals. I wrote down the one that I found because I didn't make stones for everyone in time, but I did. I made one for everyone, so we can trade. It's a little trade of things.
In that case, yep, you can go first.
And she's gonna hand her the stone with the judgment angelic seal on it that I hadn't had chance to give everyone before the River Axe fight.
Still impressive, I have to admit.
Well, it's overdue. I should have given it to you a lot sooner.
Actually, I have one for Cillian too, but you know what? Just give me a second. Amrita pulls out a bracelet that she places into Lorelei's hands, and looking at the bracelet, there is different colored circles on it. One that appears to be red and one that is brown and white. And then there's a blue ribbon that matches her cloak, or as close as Amrita could get it. That's in her hand. And then she pulls out another one that it's similarly made, but with a purple ribbon. I'll explain it to you how this is made, but you can control flames with it. The red, you see, that's infused with my blood. And this right here has cinnamon in it, so when you pull the ribbon, it will allow you to be able to control flames like I can. I unfortunately couldn't make it anything else stronger than that because I didn't have access to mana or enough money, but you can see with it as you will, and I was going to give this one to Cillian as well, but I need you to promise me something and tell him, don't tell him I made it, and make it seem like it's a gift from you and not me. I don't think he'd appreciate the sentiment.
I disagree. I don't think he'd like it that much if I gave it to him, but sure, if that's what you want, I will do that.
Just tell him how to use it, and just he can pull the string here, but
pull the ribbon and that makes it go?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'll do that. I have to talk to him about something anyway, so I'll be a good in.
Yeah. I just maybe I would have given it to him beforehand, but now's not really a good time to. I just need a moment away. So
yeah.
Also, I'm what I said about Lars, that was a bit insensitive of me. I'll admit that.
Hey, it was a sharp enough truth that you had, and you know, sometimes you need to be sharp for the words to cut through. So I get the intention behind it, and she looks like uncomfortable and pensive for a moment. It's fine.
I was also wrong about Asuriel as well in the beginning, and I just listen. I know we just got back, but I need. It's the eye hasn't really done anything lately, but if we are to go back through the Needle's Eye Pass, I'm going to interact with the beast. The eye seems to be a midway so far, or I don't know if it can interact with that other part of myself, and I don't really want any of the others to know that I'm going there, and I will probably be out the rest of the evening. But don't come looking for me, please. At least give me till come morning after dawn. I need to do this. And if you could just, I had clothes, my other clothes that I gave to Cillian to sew back. If you could get them back for me later from him, that would be good, please.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll love the fact that I have now 3 things to talk to him about. But
yeah,
whatever you need.
But yeah, whatever. Just lie about the bracelet or say it's magical. Yeah,
you got it. I'll say I found it around the forge or something. He won't know the difference, I'm sure.
Yeah, he wasn't there when I made him, so I should hope not. But
yeah, absolutely.
I hate to cut and run in this moment, but
You're coming
just
back,
really,
though, right?
yeah. I'll be back, and someone's gotta check on Petunia. I gotta come back for the horse, so.
Yeah. I don't think she'll listen to anyone but you, so.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I have to, that moment. Starts to walk away in silence, leaving her with the 2 bracelets.
Lorelei
Which-
will put on the one.
Yeah.
With the blue ribbon, she immediately puts it on.
They are alchemically made. The beads, like Amrita said, infused with her blood. When you pull the ribbon, they will crack. So it is a single-use thing. Allows you to use the control flames cantrip.
Yeah, Lorelei will head back, awkwardly holding this other bracelet. No, wait for Cillian to finish his schmoozing or whatever the hell he's doing.
You're gonna have to get him.
He's crowd surfing. Oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah, she'll fucking grab him by the collar and just yank him out of her.
No, I was stuck.
You.
Hey,
I need to talk to you.
Up close,
Okay.
you can see that part of his hair is a little bit off color, maybe a little too bright in its color, and the roots are pale, not quite white, but like a very, very pale. And the vitiligo pattern seems to have spread a little bit further up his forehead to the hairline. One of his eyes is the amber color has almost turned like, you've seen people with like a little piece of a different color in the iris. It's like almost this like pale gold line through it.
Stares at it for a moment, like uncomfortable, like crying, like a little invasively staring at it. Like,
You're looking deep into my eyes, Lorelei.
I'm looking at your hairline, dickhead. Come with me. And she just grabs him by the wrist and pulls him away. Down an alleyway somewhere private to talk. Right.
Sort of wave towards the Burgomaster as I'm pulled away.
I have a few things to talk to you about. Please just make this easy for me, okay?
You got it.
So, this is for you. Drops the bracelet into his hand.
No, thanks. I start unwrapping the ribbon around it.
Don't pull the ribbon!
What?
Pulling the ribbon makes it do fire.
You could have warned me. Okay,
Yeah,
thanks.
I should. Sorry, I should.
Put it on my left hand.
Yeah. So, I found that, and I was wandering around the forge. It had purple on it, and you like purple, so.
This is Angel Forge stuff. Cool.
Yeah, I think so.
You say he likes purple as you notice he's like changed his armor and now it's like a vermilion.
I don't keep up with his. I don't keep up with his color schemes, girl. I got better shit to do. And I have.
Okay, I know you've got important things, but I've got the most important thing.
All right, go with
How are things?
Literally have not really had a conversation since, so. He's busy. What do you want me to do? Get in the way of his work? No.
Oh, he's burying himself in work. It's like the stupidest thing you can do when you're good. What's up?
Okay, so I have an offer, and this is an open offer. While out in the woods, I've been kind of thinking about different spells, like new spells, things that would be a lot stronger than what I could currently do, and I haven't tried it yet, but I think I could maybe remove a curse. So that's...
In what way?
I don't know. That's the thing. I've never tried it, but I feel like I could, like it's just, when you can't explain how you can do something, it just feels like it.
Okay.
And I owe the Vistani a
Good
lot,
news.
so call this me paying my debt back to them.
In what way do you owe the Vistani a lot? I know I've done a lot for you, but I don't represent the entire Vistani. That's
She tugs on
pretty
the collar.
discriminatory.
Tugs on the collar of a dress. I totally forgot to tell you when I was having you fix this. I was given this by Vistani when I was younger. I was gonna freeze to death, and I found this Vistani caravan that was just about to leave, and I just ran into the middle of them, and I just gave them everything I had, and I was like, I need clothes. And this lovely lady, what was her name? And she gives the description of the woman that she saw and the colors of the banners. and she gave me this. She gave me this dress. And well, I honestly I'd forgotten about it. And then I was just in the
May or
forest.
may not have comes off a corpse, you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know where it comes from.
Uh,
But it kept me warm that winter. And
Do you know what I did with my family?
annoyed them.
Probably, but the reason they endured it was because there's a lot of death on the roads, and one of our things is we don't leave a corpse just laying around. I think they deserve better. So the problem with that is my shit, right? Geist problems, taking a corpse is a lot of things to do magically. So that was my job. I, helped them, and that was my grandma, Lorelei.
No shit.
Yeah, it was. I think I handled, I handled the corpse your dress was on.
No, stop talking.
Or at least helped.
No, stop talking. No.
Yeah,
Nuh-uh.
that's sort of what I thought. But you met my grandma, isn't she the best?
She was lovely. She actually, she offered to take me with them.
We could have been family, Lorelei. Why'd you not take up that offer? Imagine all the adventures we could add.
The last shred of intelligence I had told me it would have been a bad idea. I hadn't met you yet, but I knew you'd be annoying as hell.
Yeah, had the feeling. No, I get it.
But this remove curse thing.
Yeah.
It is on the table. I will have this prepared and available for you whenever you want to take it.
Yeah, like as soon as possible now, if you can do it.
That's a bit soon. I was practicing some sending messages to people, and that takes a lot. I'll get back to you about it. I need to think. But...
Yeah, sure. Just leave this life-altering thing hanging. Thanks. No, I'm sorry. Thank you, Lorelei.
Dying like that and being forgotten is the worst thing. Memories are all people have of the dead, and having that taken away is the worst thing I could imagine. It drive me insane.
Sure.
More insane.
Okay, tomorrow then. Promise.
Promise.
I don't want to get my hopes up.
I don't want to get your hopes up either. But it is an attempt that I will make. And
I've been to churches. I've been to.
Yeah, well, this isn't exactly.
But I've seen
doctrine,
you fight. I've seen you cast fucking magic I've never seen before.
It just comes to me. It's instinct. And my instinct is telling me right now to help you.
Good instinct.
As annoying as you are.
Always worth the help.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Have you perhaps had the chance to? Because Acrio doesn't know me right now.
Yeah.
What do you think the approach should be there? Because I think he's one of my best friends ever.
I have diary entries.
I'm a weird guy.
I have diary entries that have you in it. Admittedly, might have to edit them a little bit. Aren't exactly in the best light.
No, I'd love to read your journal.
No, you will
I
not.
I won't. Yet.
Not just because I have called you a prick on a few pages.
No.
You did have it coming though.
Seems accurate.
I'll show him the best ones. I'll show him the best pages. Because as irritating as you are, I don't think it would be fair to lead with that. Because I don't think that's all you are.
Well, thanks. I just feel like it wasn't the smartest idea to leave.
Fresh slate. You can have new experiences.
Sure. I'm good at making friends.
Yep. Speaking of, and she just pushes him back towards the crowd. Go back to your adoring fans.
Mr. Clemens, how is the rebuilding going?
How's the wife? Oh, she's the one that died? Shit.
Zach, as you said, is about as much as you've ever been comfortable into various group of people. Would it be he or York who is more inclined to get the fuck out?
I would say it would be him. Say York probably is the one that's pushing him to talk to more people, but he's okay, need to plan some stuff out, need to get out.
Yeah, and it's York doesn't know how to be social, so he's say something, and then Zach will just blank on it a few times. Doesn't really know what to say. The weather is cloudy again in Stinzia.
Like always.
hasn't rained too much. But yeah, eventually you find yourself breaking away, and you spot, not from this crowd, but approaching from the street, the older of the sisters, Gertruda Leone. She's not quite as spruced up, a little more plain now, but she seems to be heading in your direction.
Oh, wave at her. Hey.
Gives a slight smile before her face returns to its not exactly resting bitch face, but a very
neutral.
Yeah, very neutral expression. Nods, and I wanted to thank you again for escorting me back into town safely. That was generous.
It's not a problem. With all the things happening, it seems like it would be good for multiple people to escort each other,
Would it be too much to impose and ask another favor?
Not at all.
I'm sorry I can't really pay you, but bit of pittance, and I've discussed it with my family, and I've decided I'm going to make the journey to Corsica. If no further, I'll see how far responsibilities are going to take me, but would you be so kind as to accompany the wagons there? I would feel much safer.
I'm not a big fan of Corsica, but it would be, you know what? I feel like it might do me some good to go there.
Have you been?
I'm from Corsica.
I don't want to impose if it makes you uncomfortable, but perhaps someone who knows the area would be beneficial and much appreciated.
He pauses for a bit. I have some bad memories there, but I feel like maybe that would be best to at least, put them to rest. I'll join with you a lot.
Can I have you make a general charisma check?
All right.
Oh, that's a sound of confidence.
Hey,
Oh,
we're
14, that's not too bad.
roommates.
Gertruda, as you mention bad memories, reaches out and just grabs her hand just by the smallest fingers, and perhaps then we face it together.
he pauses for a bit, and then just so she doesn't see, there's a hand right here, and just makes him nod pretty much. like in his hair, just make him
right
nod.
Yeah. Ghost hand grabs his head, puppeteers him into nodding.
That's great.
York, the best wingman.
Yes.
Second only to Wingman, the horse.
Second only to Cillian, the wingman.
Is there anything else you guys would like to do before, to make preparations for eventually leaving Greylit?
Probably do with levels of supply, I think, because I only have two. I'd like more, so that I'm not
Sure.
gimped.
Yeah, you can all purchase supplies,
Someone
anything like
buy
that,
supplies
and
for me, please. Because I have no money. I have no stuff.
Oh yeah.
let me roll real quick. I'm gonna roll to see how well the jeweler did with cutting these and increasing the value
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Big money.
the diamonds. First, we'll start with the 266.
Okay.
That is going to increase, which is definitely well over 300 GP. And then the second one.
Oh.
Also, once these
Good
two
jeweler.
are collected back from the jeweler, they have been polished and shine sparkling brilliantly as he lays them out on this black velvet under a candlelight, so you can see the pristine cut of them. And yeah, he'll try to upsell. Would you like these set in a ring? I could do necklace. They're not matching, so earrings wouldn't exactly function.
No setting. I appreciate it though. Just do that myself.
Ah, yes, at the forge. I would be honored to see what kind of work you come up with.
Oh, I feel so bad. Just, hey, could I do this? Fuck you. No, I can do a better
Fuck you, I'm the
job.
forge master.
Oh God, I'm sorry, sir.
Who the fuck do you think I am?
Thank you for your work. Picks one up and examines it before
Not
tucking
with the
them.
bare. Just the oils from the handles and tongue. It's fine. It's fine.
I understand. All right. And I'll pick up one of the gems with one of the silk cloths and observe it. I'm sorry. Thank you for your work. These will be put to good use.
Are they for someone special? I've never known them to be strictly utilitarian. Seems an odd way to describe jewelry.
Gems have a particular worth to Cathars beyond a simple jewelry accessory.
Well, thank you for your patronage. Glad I can assist the church in any way.
Thank you for your work. Avacyn's blessing be upon ye.
He would just nod, and you hear him mutter, if that's a thing anymore.
Just fucking grab him and beat him to a bloody pulp. You'll fucking praise him. Sorry. Take the
Heresy.
diamonds. I am calm incarnate, and I walk out with the diamonds.
Angela's fault.
Yeah. Hunt down Lorelei and just very plainly hold out the bag to her. Diamonds have been polished, cleaned up, worth more. For our uses, they might all serve a purpose.
I hope so. Well,
Yeah.
I hope we never have to use them.
It's a precaution, not a requirement. Of course, we need money, so give out what you will, but my recommendation, hold on to at least one.
I'd like to hold on to as many as I can, if that's not too much. Unless we're quite literally starving, but...
Well, ideally they keep us from dying if we sell them, because the supplies will certainly help,
Yeah,
but
I trust your judgment on it. I'll just hold on to them. Whatever we do with them is what we do with them.
yeah, you can, I'd say, at the very least keep one, but you can talk about the other two with the others.
I swear we had 5. What happened to the rest?
Well, I think Cillian snagged one, and
That little fucker, where is he?
You see him in his newly dyed armor.
Where that... I'm gonna fucking strangle him.
Yeah.
I just offered to remove a curse from him. I'm gonna remove the curse and immediately strangle him.
Remove it and put it right back on.
Yeah, I'm gonna remove it, make it stronger, and like put it back in. It's gonna be like a
Just
curse
for the
dialysis
taste
machine.
of freedom.
Yeah. It's just like
I'm
everyone
gonna
will
let you
remember
taste the
you.
life of freedom and then subject you right back to it.
Yeah, so he'll hand over the diamonds. Alright. Well, I think we're done here. Awkwardly standing there, staring off at the exit. Like he
I'll lean into his eye line. How you doing?
looks away a little more and then back to her.
We've barely spoken this whole time. I haven't really checked in on you.
I mean, we're both doing our own thing. You with whatever you were doing, and I was working away. The bags under his eyes are only covered more so by the soot that is on across his cheeks.
Yeah, you can see he's hasn't probably shaved in a day or so. Like, Acrio doesn't grow like a great beard, so he usually keeps it pretty shaved, but now patchy and 5 o'clock shadow grown in.
Yeah.
A little bit more disheveled than usual as he's just thrown himself into constant work.
Maybe you should take the time to just rest a little bit before we set out.
If we had the time to do so, then I would.
We have, like a whole night, basically. Just deal with this situation. And she just, like, taps his jawline with, like, a patchy bit of facial hair. Is like, deal with this. What is this? When was the last time you washed your face?
It accrued faster than I could clean it off.
Then clean better.
And what's with all that? Point to her face, also covered in dirt.
This is a choice.
Then we can both be filthy creatures together until we shower, bathe.
Also together.
Shut the fuck up.
It looks like that's where Lorelei completes it in her head, and like there's a bit of color in her cheeks for a minute, but she doesn't say anything.
What else is there? Oh, fuck. Right. Damn it. Where the fuck did Amrita go?
She, I think the whole like picture thing kind of overwhelmed her a bit. She said she was just gonna go. She'll be back.
Where's her horse?
There's where the horse is going.
Oh, hey, wait, there it is. Points behind her.
Probably stabled near the Traveler's Inn.
There's a lot I feel like I should talk about with you, and a lot I could do, and I could rest, and I could take a bath, but I'm very busy.
I know. I know you're busy, but you're gonna burn out. Just take one evening.
I have to go up and get the cart, and I'll be back at midnight, and I'll take a rest.
I'm coming with you.
No.
I'm coming with you.
I'll go alone.
That's non-negotiable. I'm coming with you.
You need a bath yourself.
Well, then I'll have one later. It's
and
fine.
Avacyn knows you need a shower and rest as well.
You're not going to take care of yourself, so I have to. I'm looking out for you. It's non-negotiable. I'm sorry. I don't want to have to put my foot down like this, but I have to. You're very stubborn.
Fine. Okay, fine. You can come along.
I was going to anyway. I didn't need your permission.
Okay.
Amrita, as night has fallen and you've made sure Petunia is fed and properly stabled before you wander, but with a purpose, outside of Braylet into the fields, you hear the distant cry of wolves toward the nearly black moon as it is rapidly disappearing through the nights, approaching the next season. You can't see it, but you know behind the clouds it would be barely a sliver at this point. The night is dark and you can see clearly enough, even when it is pitch, although everything is cast in shades of gray. The fields are swaying in a gentle evening breeze.
She will take off the headband, and she just can't help but cautiously, still look around, almost expecting someone to be there, given what's happened the last month or so. But she's alone again. It's that same feeling that she got when the person that she knew in Kessig had left, but she doesn't know what it means. It's very confusing, and will speak to the eye. Listen, I don't want to tear these new clothes. Not now, not so soon. And if you just mention anything about any type of feelings to me, just don't. I want us to talk to the wolf.
Why?
Because you said it's a part of me and I can't hide from it anymore. And I'll get my mind off other things.
Stay focused. We make us one. We control the wolf.
She sits down, takes off her shoes, and will close her eyes and inhale.
Make a sanity check. As you are sitting on the edge of a field, hearing the grain swaying near you, the wolves still howling in the background, some distance off, up the mountains. Suddenly you find yourself inside your old house. It's not on fire this time, it's simply how you remember it. There's a stream of light coming in one window and the particles of dust catching in it. You hear the sound of what sounds like a knife on a chopping board, just somebody's dicing something up in the kitchen.
He walks to the kitchen and peers in the doorway.
You're expecting to see likely your mother preparing an evening meal. So many times you had seen her do before, but that's not what awaits you on the other side. No, instead you see the blade that is chopping on the board connected to this bony arm. You see it attached to this segmented, almost serpentine-like, almost a spinal cord with appendages growing out from it. On the platter in front of it, something you can only describe as a raw meat, though you can't tell what it comes from, as this thing shifts in your direction and you recognize what you've seen in the mirror, but it's no longer in your forehead. It is attached to this horrific apparatus as it stares back at you. do you want?
What the heck? I want cooperation. I am in control of this
All we have done
body
is
here.
cooperate. We've listened to you long enough.
I've allowed you to stay alive because you're helping me and you need me as much as I have seemed to have used you. What bullshit is this?
We have given you everything you asked. What will you give us?
What do you want?
Everything. What can you give?
Oh, I was myself. Is that what you fucking want?
It's a start. We want to feel. We want to experience. And as you hearing this voice, there's no mouth. It's just ringing out around you as the room all seems to shrink, and you find yourself like the size you were as a small child. Everything seems too big now as this eye is looming over you.
And if I don't want to feel?
We weren't asking.
Does it look like there's any kind of exit anywhere?
You look around the room, suddenly all of the doors are just non-existent. You're in this encased box that was at one point your family kitchen. Now it's more like a prison inside your own mind.
You're trying to enrage me and I don't like it. Not one bit. Let me out of here.
You haven't gone anywhere.
Fucking toying with me and I fucking hate it.
Can I have you make a charisma saving throw? As you say that, you hear a snarling, jaws snapping, claws on the other side of the wall, just scratching. The eye on the end of these segmented bones with like tendons and blades coming off of it twists and whips to the side just as you see the planks shatter in, and this massive wolf-like spirit, green, like spectral, made of mana, just eyes that look like they are on fire, burst through the wall, imposing itself between you and this thing as the hair on the back of its neck is standing up on this wolf spirit, staring down the eye, blocking you from it and it from you. And that's where we're going to drop the curtain on this week's session.
The demon was the real enemy!
Inside you, there are two wolves. One is a one-eyed surgeon. The other is a wolf.
And daughters hide the heart of who we are, making peace to build a future, strong, united, working till we fall. The air and water flowing hard, the land we call our home, push to keep the dark from coming, feel the weight of what we owe. This, the song of sons and daughters, hide the heart of who we are, making peace to build a future,